Так.
А як ви поставили свій планшет?
Ну. То я мав якось його по-іншому. Так, чи мав поставити чек? Все. О, точно. Hello. Іду. Hello. Доброго вечора. Дякую. I'm fine, thank you. Hello. So for today I will continue to analyze very interesting match between Boris Spassky and Viktor Korchnoi, which was played in 1977 in Belgrad. After first 3 games, Korchnoi is leading 2.5 against half point. So for today, my plan is analyze games 4, 5, and 6. In game 4, Boris Spassky is white. Viktor Korchnoi is black. So e4. Is it everything okay with voice, with video? Are there any complaints? Okay, good. Good. So e4 again. French defense, favorite opening of Viktor Korchnoi in that period. d4, d5, knight c3, bishop b4, e5, c5, a3, takes, knight e7. a4. a4 line also I played against young Krzysztof Duda. Other opportunities for white here, queen g4 the most aggressive, also h4 is possible. Well, so a4, bishop d7. Possible, but not only move. So modern theory suggests to play here queen c7. With threat c takes d4 and queen c3. If knight f3, now pawn d4 is protected, so c takes d4 and queen c3 brings nothing because not possible to take. But after knight c3, the most useful move here is h6. Black wants to play b6, but not immediately, only after bishop will go somewhere. Bishop d3 or bishop e2. Black will play b6. So, immediately b6 is not so precise because after b6 immediately bishop b5 check is possible. So for black is better to wait. h6 is very useful move to prevent knight g5 in some moments. So this is a suggestion of modern theory, but bishop d7 is also possible, of course. Knight f3, queen e5, bishop d2, knight c6, old theory, bishop e2, f6. Theoretical line. Also white has possibility to play bishop b5 here. Murray Chandler played against me bishop b5. It's another possible line. Black has many options. For example, h6 is possible, and after castle, queen c7 to prepare knight a5. So bishop e2, f6, c4, queen c7, takes, knight takes d5, c3, castle, rook. White has two bishops pair, but black has contraplay on g line. e5 and bishop h3, it's possible idea. Rook e1 played. Late castle or no castle? Okay, depends. You mean from black here? Okay, depends what white is doing. For example, bishop c1 is possible to consider like idea, but rook e1 also possible. Well, so rook g8, rook e1, e5. Very concrete way. So black is preparing to play bishop h3, fighting for initiative. If d takes e5, for example, bishop h3 is coming. If g3, knight takes c3. It's possible. This looks like good for black. Because, for example, after this, f takes e5. Knight takes e5 immediately doesn't work because after this bishop g4, bishop takes g4, rook takes e5, white losing the piece. King b8 is important. Black is winning, but maybe it's possible to play bishop c4. So white has some compensation for the queen because if I want to take on e5, if rook e8, knight g5 is coming, but well, it's unclear, it's totally enough. Rook d8, for example, probably the best to exchange one pair of rooks. Okay, Spassky played c4, bishop h3. So bishop takes g2 is very strong threat, so white cannot take black knight just now. So this bishop takes g2, although probably rook takes g2 is strong as well. King h1, e4 is another very promising option for black. Добрий вечір. Тримаємося. Bishop f1 played Boris Spassky. Knight b6, Victor Korchnoi. Black has choice. Queen g7 also possible to consider, of course. Position is sharp. Probably after queen g7, g3 is the best for white. Okay, knight b6. Let's see what happened in the game. So black wants to take on c4 in some moment because bishop f1 need to protect g2 pawns. d5, knight takes c4. Very tricky. Take on c4 now. It looks like bad for white because after bishop takes g2, black has too many threats. So d takes c6, queen takes c6. So very interesting position. Black is piece down, but there are some threats. So the simple threat, Milan Vukic. No, I never played against Milan Vukic. Who is he? Okay, as I understand, he's Serbian player, probably, but how old is he and what is his level? He played against Stal, so okay, so he's quite old, I can suppose. Bosnian, not Serbian, Bosnian, sorry. Okay, I never played against him. So knight takes d2 and bishop takes g2 is a simple threat, and white cannot play rook a2 because after knight takes d2, rook takes d2, rook takes d2, and if knight takes, black is taking on g2, if queen takes f3, and black is winning. Or even bishop takes g2 is possible. Only after bishop takes g2, now queen takes f3. Bishop takes c4, extremely dangerous. Black can take with bishop on g2, also can take with rook on g2. It looks like losing for white. So Spassky played g3, only a reasonable move in this position. Bishop takes f1, rook takes f1, e4. So very concrete play. Now white knight is attacked, and knight cannot just go somewhere because knight need to defend the bishop. Queen b3 played Boris Spassky. Reasonable alternative looks like rook c1. No, yet what is problem with rook c1? Okay, we can think about this. Maybe just queen d5 and same position if white plays queen b3. And probably, I'm not sure if white has anything better, but we can consider at least. Also, maybe queen e2 is option here. Because after e takes f3, queen takes f3, black cannot take bishop, rook is hanging. But again, probably the best for black is queen d5. Rook c1 looks like the most logical. If this, if this, it's rook endgame. So it's better here. Not so obvious. At the moment, black is pawn up, but rook f5 is coming, so it looks like probably like drawish, more or less. Looks like draw. Yes, black has active king, but white has no weakness, so it should be draw, in my opinion. Okay, we can come back if it was totally forced. So, from this position. Of course, e5, it's not only move, black could play something else, like king b8, for example. But okay, e5 is very concrete, c4. And now, of course, black has choice. Bishop h3 is not only move. It's possible to go somewhere with knight. but okay, it's another game. So bishop h3, bishop f1. Again, totally possible to play something like this, d5, knight e7, just play this position. Push a pawn where? Okay, so knight b6 was played, d5 was played. c4, so this g3 more or less forced. So queen b3 played Boris Spassky, so queen e2 was possible, or rook c1 like reasonable alternative. Queen b3 played Boris Spassky, queen d5. Viktor Korchnoi answered. Rook ac1. It's important that white queen is not protected now. For example, if bishop f4, black can take on f3, but also can consider knight e5. If queen takes d5, knight takes f3 check. If knight d2, knight f3 check, and then knight takes d2. So it's important tactical trick. Okay, maybe e takes f3, it's possible as well, but it's less clear. White can try rook c1 or rook d1, something like this. So knight e5 is very important trick, because if you want to improve your tactical visions, very important to see where you and your opponent has unprotected pieces. So at the moment, white queen is unprotected and black has very good opportunity to realize it. But this is very simple. Sometimes it's much more complicated. So bishop f4 doesn't work. He played rook ac1. And now knight e5 doesn't work because rook takes c5 is cut. Queen takes c5 and knight takes e5. Black cannot take white bishop because g8 is hanging. If take knight with pawn, rook c1 is coming. If take with queen, also rook c1. Sorry, I was sure that white is winning here because bishop f4, but bishop f4 doesn't work. Sorry, so why not knight e5 indeed? Okay, rook takes c5 is only reasonable move for white, as I see, because queen is hanging. Knight takes e5, queen takes b3, rook takes c5, check, king b8. Doesn't look serious. So rook takes c5 is only move. Queen takes c5. Okay, maybe rook c1 immediately is possible. Okay, so knight e5, queen takes e5 surprisingly is acceptable for black because bishop f4 doesn't work. And black has exchange up and also pawn up. Okay, rook c1 immediately is possible, but what is this? So knight takes f3 check, king g2, queen takes c1, I suppose, bishop takes c1. What is this? Yes, maybe white is good here because bishop f4 is coming and queen e6. So black has weak king and many weakness. So for example, if king b8, white can try Bishop f4, king a8, queen e6. So this position looks like more promising for white. Or queen e6 immediately, also possible. No? So now it's clear. Yes, rook c1 is good. So after knight takes e5 is bad, but rook c1 is strong. And my evaluation that white is better here because black has a weak king and problem with coordination of pieces. Or for example, if knight d4, queen f7 is coming somehow. Okay, so knight takes d2 played Viktor Lvovich. Knight takes d2, queen takes d2. Rook takes c5, king b8. So black is pawn up, but white has some initiative. Rook b5, rook g7. If pawn, okay, but after a5, black can play a6 probably, or queen d3. So position still sharp. Somewhere e3 it's possible from black. Probably approximately dynamical equality. So rook b5, rook g7, rook b1, rook d7. So now if a5, a6, if rook b6, queen takes e5 is possible. So queen e6 played Spassky, e3. F takes e3, h5, h4, it's too slow. Queen e3, rook d7. Move repetition. Okay, very sharp game. Okay, my analysis doesn't look like quite deep, but I don't see special mistakes from players. So draw looks like quite logical result. Okay, so let's go to next game. c4. c4. Again, queen b6. In previous game, we have seen bishop c5 as well. Queen b6 is main move. Knight b3. Now knight e5 is main move. If e4, bishop b4, queen e2, d6. But Spassky played castle and had a bad position after the opening. But now he played queen a6. So at the moment nobody plays queen a6 here. But reaction of Korchnoi looks very, very strange for me. So he played knight d2. So it looks like passive, ugly. So what else I can say? Okay, normal move here is c5. If b6, white can play, for example, castle, bishop takes, bishop e3 with an excellent compensation somehow. After c4, even bishop c5 is possible. Maybe. I'm not totally sure. My idea is this, and then queen d6 come. Okay, maybe it's just rubbish, of course. More easy to sacrifice pieces if they are not yours. Queen d6 maybe immediately with threat bishop takes c6. Also possible to consider bishop e3 here, so white has many promising possibilities. Also, it's possible to play bishop g5, this style pawn sacrifice. So if queen takes c4, bishop f6, g takes f6, castle. If bishop takes c3, rook c1 is strong initiative. Okay, maybe black can take firstly and take here. But anyway, this type of position looks maybe bishop f6 firstly, because if castle, knight e4 is possible. So bishop f6, g takes f6, castle. If d5, e4 is possible. D takes e4, knight d2, something like this. But okay, c5, I believe that it was strongest move in this position. So knight d2 played Korchnoi. So queen d6. So queen d6. What was proposition after queen d6? c5, b6, bishop c5. Oh, knight c5 also looks natural and strong. But okay, we are considering bishop c5, bishop takes c3, b takes c3. This queen d6. What was proposition? King e8, king d8. You mean? Okay, hard to believe it can be good. Okay, so white has c5, many promising possibilities. Okay, I want to ask maybe Bagirov in his book explains something. Just a moment, please. If I will find this book, of course. Sure. No, I don't feel immediately book of Bagirov. Just a minute. Okay. No order. Okay, so yes, okay, king d8 I will take, so it looks like. Sorry. Is it everything okay? Just a moment. Okay. So a takes b3, okay, what to do? Knight e8. Immediately. Okay, white has very strong initiative, of course. Queen f4, for example. Well, but knight d2 played Viktor Lvovich, and now bishop takes c3 took Boris Spassky, very logical. Because white had threat knight to play knight b5 castle. So bishop takes c3, b takes c3. But Now it's something which is hard to understand for me, because I see that black has problem, his bishop on c8, and very, very natural here for black is to play b6. My idea is very simple, to play bishop b7 and then to play knight a5 and try to utilize weakness of white pawns. So what is problem here? I don't know. Okay, probably Spassky afraid something like c5, if b takes c5, knight b3. But okay, after even this, it's not convincing. I can just play c4 and a4 is proposition. Okay, I wanted to say that after c5, black can also play bishop b7. Ignore if c takes b6, a takes b6, or even knight a5 immediately with quite good position, or just a takes b6. So all pieces are active. There is proposition a4. Okay, a4 is logical, but I'm not so. Yes, castle. Maybe even bishop b7 is possible. I'm not sure that so dangerous. Bishop a3, for example, I can play knight a5. And if bishop takes b7, just take with knight and prepare knight c5 and castle. But okay, castle is possible. Bishop a3, rook e8, why not? And then bishop b7 and knight a5. So what is problem for white? I don't. What is problem for black here? I don't know. So b6 was very, very logical. But Spassky played castle and d5, totally different. Again, b6 now also possible. Bishop d6 after rook e8, but why it is so bad for black? So bishop d6, bishop b7, okay. My next move will be knight a5. So castle or what? Okay, castle, knight a5, and I already attacking pawn c4. So white has only bishop active on d6, but it's not enough for developing initiative, in my opinion. So b6 was extreme. I would play b6 in this position with black, but Spassky chose d5. It looks like less logical because now for white it's more easy to take on d5 and then try to activate his bishop, bishop b2, c4. Queen b3 played Viktor Lvovich. Also possible was just c takes d5 and to check who will take. Probably Spassky wanted to take with pawn, but in this case white can play rook e1 and then knight b3, knight d4, something like this. So white has no weakness, so very strange for me choice d5. But okay, queen b3 played Korchnoi. So idea is if knight a5, he can play queen b5, and black cannot take with knight because they are losing the piece. Bishop d7, c takes queen a3. From between knight f6, c4, e6, knight c3, bishop b4, knight f3, c5, g3, castle, bishop g2, c takes d4, knight takes d4, d5, queen b3, this. Okay, modern theory suggests knight c6 like the best move, but after d takes c3, queen a3, it's very promising line for white, and white has very good compensation for the pawn. So a3 square is quite standard in this type of position. Okay, let's see what happens. So queen a3, knight a5, takes, c4, played logical move, looks like knight b3. White is better, certainly. Only question how much is better. So probably d5 was just missed, or maybe bishop d7 also wasn't the best move. Probably black should play something else, like rook e8, for example. Because now after queen a3, yes, now knight b3, white has an excellent position, but Korchnoi played c4 also. Looks good, very aggressive, because if d takes c4, he wants to play bishop b2 and create some threats. Idea to take on f6, because queen needs to defend knight, so white has strong initiative. Bishop g4 played Spassky, he's looking for contraplay. Bishop b2 with Korchnoi. Also c takes d5 looks like logical takes, and rook e1. What is this? Now rook takes e2 is threat, so black has... Okay, maybe black has some tactical ideas, but we'll check. It works somehow. So queen e1, yes, this is possible. White cannot play knight f1 because queen is hanging, and after bishop f1, knight e4 is coming, and white cannot protect f2 pawn. If queen takes a7, knight takes d2. So after rook d8, white cannot take on e2 immediately. So probably this was idea of Boris Spassky. If they try to play intermediate move, black has queen e5. Is it everything okay with stream, with chat? After bishop b2, queen takes d5. Always protect. Good. So after rook a d8, probably white can do something else. So rook takes e2 doesn't work, and black has threat knight takes d5. So if bishop b2, knight takes d5 is possible. And again, white has problem if rook takes e2, queen takes e2. If queen takes e5, b6 is coming, and then queen takes d2. So after rook a d8, I'm curious if white has some promising ideas. Probably d6 is possible, however. Or also knight e4 is interesting. Or knight b3 also.